morning. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Celia Jimenez.
And I'm LevelEd. I teach math here at the high school, and I'm also doing my internship this year.
Yay, and I'm also at the high school. I'm the AVID site coordinator here. We are going to be doing AVID's critical reading process, just an introduction. And will you let us know what school you're from and what grade level you teach?
I'm from Pioneer Elementary, and I work with first and second graders.
And I'm from Outlook, and I teach first, second, and third for a resource room.
You're so both elementary, which is awesome because we are expanding AVID to elementary, correct?
Yes.
So Outlook, you maybe have heard of AVID, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but I wanted to learn more about it. I wasn't able to attend the initial.
Yeah, no, this is perfect. Yep.
Awesome. So I think we're going to go ahead and get started. We were asked to go ahead and extend our session and go into 11:30, and they're just going to push back lunch until 11:30 so we get our full session in. So just a heads up about that. Just to start, I wanted to let you both know that this you have access to this shared folder with all of the resources from today's session. So if you want to grab a QR code from back there, the ones that say shared folder, they're right behind you on this half of the room. You will be able to have access to all of the resources we're using today, including the slideshow and some handouts. If you're signed into your school's Google account if you have the Google Drive app, then you can save it to your drive and you can access it on your computer whenever you want. You can take a look at it. Oh no.
Oh, you know what? I think they do have it plugged in, right?
Yes, yeah. Will it come back? There we go. Okay. Hey.
What's up?
This is Ryan Cullen.
Hi, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Do you want to introduce yourself to them?
Yes.
Maybe Ryan, what you teach and earn?
My name is Ryan Cullen. I am a high school AVID elective teacher. So I teach ninth grade, 2 10s, and an 11. And it's my 4th year at the high school. Yeah, that's about it.
Full-time AVID this year, right?
What's that?
Full-time AVID
Full-time AVID
this year.
elective teacher.
Very cool. So if at any point in time you have anything to add, please do. Okay, so welcome. We've got the shared folder down. There are some QR codes spread around the room, Ryan. If you want to scan it, you'll have access to a shared folder with the slideshow and a couple other resources in there. And then let's also make sure we have handouts. We have elementary specific handouts and some secondary. So I'll get to these. And then elementary. There we go. All right, so what is AVID? If AVID is completely new to you, you might not be familiar with their framework. But AVID's mission is to close the achievement gap by preparing all students for college and career readiness in a global society. So we have two components when it comes to AVID. We have the AVID elective, which is what Ryan just talked about, and then we have AVID school-wide, and that is where everyone shares accountability for some common instructional strategies that really support college and career readiness across content areas. And these work from elementary all the way up to secondary. So school-wide is all about using the Wicker framework and instructional strategies that support college career readiness. And in the AVID elective at the middle school and at the high schools, middle schools and at the high school, we have a group of students who have the AVID elective built into their schedule. And these are students who have college potential but need or want some additional support in building that potential. Do you have anything to add, Ryan?
No, that's right.
All the students are in there voluntarily. They've all applied to get into the program, and we have some student requirements for staying in the program. But really what they get is just some more college exposure and some more support with college planning throughout their high school career.
Yeah.
Structure, they get a lot of structure in there too, right?
Structure, and then we also focus on, a lot of it's focused on like understanding their other core classes and the curriculum that they're doing and how to understand their thinking and stuff like that. Organization, a lot of organization.
If you ever have the opportunity to pop into an AVID elective, we would love to have you. The students are very familiar with being observed at
Yes.
this point, so you can reach out to us and let us know if you're ever interested in bringing a small team of people to come check out the elective. We would love to have you. This is the Wicker framework. All of AVID strategies are grounded in the Wicker framework, which stands for writing, inquiry, collaboration, organization, and reading. So I just wanted to, I know this is an introductory course, I just wanted to pop this up here. We won't spend a ton of time on it, but you will notice throughout our session, the strategies that we engage with and some of the resources that you engage with you'll always find them embedded within one of these 5 domains. And we also have wicker posters for you guys at the end of the session. So we're going to start with an AVID license plate. So what I'm going to ask you to do is take the white sheet of paper that is on your table, and we're going to fold it into 3s. Like this. So then what we'll be able to do is prop it up on your table just like a nameplate. When Diana reached out to me and asked me if I was thinking about teaching a session today, I automatically thought of the critical reading process, because I feel like this is a process that truly transcends all content areas and really supports and empowers students in accessing and processing any type of rigorous text. So that's, in my opinion, that's the #1 strategy that is in our AVID toolbox that really, really, truly supports college and career readiness. So with that in mind, we're going to create a license plate that describes our passion for college career readiness. And the challenge here is that we can only be 7 characters. We want to use numbers, emojis, symbols, or letters to showcase what our philosophy on college career readiness is and why it's important to support students in building that readiness. So let's take about 5 minutes, and if you want to pull up your phone or your computer to look for some inspiration or check out the emojis, feel free to do so. We've got some colored pencils at your tables, and I also have markers if you want to use those. And once we're done, we can do a quick share out. are we all okay with 1 more minute?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so as we finish up on the back of our nameplate, the side that would be facing you if this was facing outward, let's prep for a share out using the sentence frame.
Alright, I'll share first. I introduced myself earlier, but I'm Lupe Garbe. I teach here at the high school. And I am passionate about college and career readiness because it's the number one thing that they can take themselves to, so, you know, they can open more doors and have more choices. And I think that will happen through like the social emotional learning that we can provide for them. And that makes me happy, and my heart is happy.
Oh, and that's why you have the happy
emoji
face.
and the heart.
And the heart.
For love.
Don't forget the exclamation mark.
Yeah, an exclamation mark.
So, I also wanted to embed here an AVID stand, share, sit. So Lupe was perfectly prepped because she was standing. So the way this activity works is that we're a small group, so we're going to be like one group together. So we always stand.
Yeah.
And then we would take turns sharing, and after each speaker shares, the speaker sits. And so as a teacher, when you're gauging the room, you know that when most of your students are done, they're all sitting, and it's just a good way to kind of pace yourself, but also make sure that everyone has a chance to participate. So Ryan, do we want to go this way? Let's do that.
That's fine, I'm good. So, hello, my name is Ryan. I teach AVID elective at Sunnyside High School. I'm passionate about college and career readiness because it gives students their best life. I didn't know what to put for life, but I put
For life.
best life.
Oh.
I could have put for life.
There you go. But I like the sun. Very cool. So my license plate says empower. Hello, I'm Celia Jimenez, and I'm the AVID site coordinator and the literacy coach here at Sunnyside High School. I'm passionate about college and career readiness. My reason is very similar to Lupe's. I'm a first-generation college student. My sister and I both are, and so I feel like I have experienced firsthand how having an education and being college career readiness can really just change the trajectory of your life. And so I believe that prepping our students for college and career, or whatever pathway they choose after high school, will lead them to having an abundance of choices and opportunities in life. And so that's my college and career readiness passion.
So mine says, it's a journey. And so, hello, I'm Billy Park. I teach resource at Pioneer. I'm passionate about college and career readiness because it's a journey. And as they make that journey, they might have a goal to start out with, but during that journey, they might change it several times. But from all of those different choices, they're still learning, but it helps them get the experience to eventually do and make their statement in life or do what they want to do.
Sure.
Hello, I'm Kay. I teach at Outlook Elementary School in the resource room, and I'm passionate about college and career readiness because it opens up life choices. I put a picture of a map on here with a star for direction. It will expand a student's choices and bring in stability and security and in education and family, home, and their career, whatever they choose to do, and on.
Thank you for sharing, everyone. Awesome, thank you so much for sharing your why and sharing your passion for college career readiness. I think it's great for us all to acknowledge and really believe in how each of us plays a role in prepping our students for that North Star that we've all just kind of shared. Let's take a look at our learning objectives. So today we will either be learning or revisiting, if you already have some familiarity with AVID, the critical reading process and the Wicker framework. We will be just kind of touching on focused notes. So if you take a look, we've got a template here, and feel free to use it if you want to. If you have your own method for note taking, or you prefer to take digital notes, that's totally fine, but this is here if you would like to use it. You'll notice there's an essential question at the top, and we'll get to that here in a second. We'll also think about some community building and structural strategies that we can try on, so just like what we just did now. And of course, share what you've learned and what you know, what you've had experience with. I would love for us all to have the opportunity to share and learn from each other. And of course, we'll just be thinking about which AVID tools we can apply in our practice. We are on a little bit of a time crunch, and so my goal would, I would love for us all to leave with a plan to implement in our classroom. We'll try to get there. we'll see what happens. Let's go ahead and take a look at our essential question for today, which is, how can I customize the critical reading process to help meet the various demands of content-specific learning? So I'm going to ask you to think about, those of you who teach elementary and teach all of the content areas, maybe think about one content focus for today. Maybe that's math, social studies. And while you're writing, I'll just mention that in the focus notes process, we always start with an essential question that will guide our thinking and we'll reflect on at the end of our lesson. All right. So let's go ahead and start by unpacking the definition of critical reading. What does it mean to be someone who reads texts critically? So think about what it means to be an effective critical reader in the discipline or in the grade level that you teach. So remember, think about a specific content if you can. What are the characteristics that pertain to your content area or grade level when it comes to accessing rigorous texts? And just take some independent think time to think about those two questions and jot down a quick list of what those traits would be in your content area. Let's take about 2 minutes for that one, and then we'll do a quick share out.
Okay, so when you say characteristics, what do you mean? What are the characteristics that pertain?
The way I interpret that is, what do I want my students, like, what lenses what do I want them to be able to do? So a few things on my list are, can they identify the text structure? Are they able to pull out the main ideas?
Okay.
That kind of thing. All right, when you're done, if you want to find a neighbor to turn and talk with, I'll talk with you, Ryan, or all four of us. We can all
Yeah,
be
we can
we can
start.
just do a little turn and talk. Do you want to go first, Ryan? Or you want
Yeah, I
me to go
can.
first?
So in the elective, there's not really a set of, we have like, how do I split it? Weeks at a glance, and then they have like,
That's the curriculum they use.
right, and then they have like weekly readings, kind of like a Newsella, but it's more AVID based, and it's based in one of the, in Wicker, so it's based on one of those, writing, inquiry, collaboration, and so, when we read a text, and I always try to make it so that it can apply to all of their content areas, we usually talk about, I want them to talk about the topic and the author, and what the purpose is that they're actually reading it for, so they have something that drives their reading. So for instance, if it's about, if it's something to do with cause and effect, then they're looking for, or problem solution with anything going on in the world or whatever we're reading about, then they're really focused just on those things. And then we always underline vocabulary, or circle vocabulary, underline important events. We paraphrase, we label, I mean, we do the
Live
whole
action
shebang.
reading.
So,
I love that
Do
you
a lot.
mentioned topic and purpose to help the students establish why they're reading something and help them think about the text through that lens. I'm ELA, and I have a short list of a couple of things that I think are super important for kids to be able to do with their text. So can they identify the text structure? Can they pull out the main ideas? The vocabulary? Can they pay attention to things like the heading and subheadings to help them understand the structure of the text and support their learning? And can they summarize their learning on the text? So that's my big list.
So I do reading and writing and math for first and second graders. And my focus for them is getting them to be readers, because most of them are come to me as non-readers. And so I want them to be able to decode something and then be able to get some understanding from it. And then I also want them to be able to focus on what they did read and find out where those key words or details are that help them understand. And then we do that across in math also, as when we're reading the story problems, is trying to figure out what is the critical information we need.
Mhm.
What is the information that is just details to elaborate on the problem.
I love that you brought up math and word problems. Those are so difficult.
Yeah, going off of that, I teach math too, and sometimes just getting them to see what the question is, like what are you supposed to answer?
The problem they're
The
supposed to
problem,
solve.
or like after they go through the whole process, then it's like, oh, what was it? What was the question, or what was, the context problem, or what was it even asking for?
I think, I agree with all of those. I was thinking more of my third grade reading group that have a little bit more skill in reading. And so when we're reading, I want them to understand the message of the writer,
Mhm.
and I want them to be able to relate it to their personal lives. so they have understanding of it, but to know the key vocabulary and how to use it, so they really start building up the comprehension of whatever topic we're reading about and how it relates to other areas. And to be able to answer the basic comprehension questions, but to be able to go back and find the support within the text.
Yeah, that's a big one. I really like how you said, like, you want kids to pull out those connections.
Right,
That's,
and relate it to themselves.
mhm. That's really good.
So, very similar, kind of across the board, even though we've got a variety of content areas. And I do just want to thank everybody for being so open and collaborative and sharing their ideas. Thank you so much. So this is on, I believe this is page 2 in your handouts, or you should see it as soon as you open. Yep, no, page 1. This is page 1 in our handouts. This is the critical reading process, which is a 3-step process that includes pre-reading, prepping students to access the text, interacting with the text, and then extending outside of and beyond the text. If you want to take a look at that, as I said, that is the first page in your handout. And the goal is to support and empower students in engaging with processing and understanding rigorous texts across content areas. So you'll notice down here that the phrase plan for reading. AVID's critical reading process encourages teachers and challenges teachers to think about all of these pieces when planning to implement a text with students. So let's take a look at handouts on page 2, which is the instructional model for reading tasks. And just take a moment to skim. Looks like this. Let's take a minute to just sort through them and just think about which steps in this section maybe you're already doing and you're really comfortable with, which steps you might be interested in trying, and whether there's any indicators that are applicable in the content area that you are focusing on today. I'm sure while you're looking through these, you're seeing a lot of things that you've already done and you're already doing intentionally in your classroom. for time's sake, I'm gonna go ahead and skip the share out for this one. But I just wanted to showcase this and have us think about what we're doing, what we would like to do, and also, this is also just a reminder that AVID's strategies are not gonna be, you're gonna notice a lot of things that you're already doing, which is awesome. It's not supposed to be totally new. It's just supposed to offer a couple of tweaks that you might try to enhance your practice. So this is what I wanted us to spend some time on, is engaging with some texts that we might be able to bring back to the classroom. Or also, if you have a text that you're already thinking about using, you can also pull that out if you have it in your, saved in your drive, or if it's digital. But my plan was to have everyone find a partner who might teach the same grade level or maybe content area as you, and identify a text that you could potentially use, and have you establish a purpose for reading. So, as Ryan said, one of the things he focuses on is making sure that every text he selects has a reading purpose, which really just declares the learning target for the students, so that they are ready to look at the text through that lens. So for elementary, there are a few different sample texts for you all in here. And for secondary as well. So you're from Outlook, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Have you engaged with My AVID Weekly?
No.
So these are pulled from there, and my understanding is that Outlook staff have access to that resource. So I can show you how to access it, but there are a few texts that were pulled from there just in here. However, there is like an abundance of texts that you could access in a variety of content areas if you're able to get into My AVID Weekly.
That would be good.
So I can show you how to do that real quick while everyone else gets going. But these are in handouts. What handouts are we on? Starting on 15 for secondary. It's different for secondary and elementary. And read for elementary. Oh, there we go, there's a sample word, reading prompt. And then here are some of those other weekly articles.
So,
Well,
I guess for now, I pick selecting the text as what it is from last night. But,
So just to show you, this is what the AVID Elementary weekly looks like. Have you created a My AVID account?
Yes.
No.
Okay, I can send you information on how to do that, how to
That
set up.
would be great.
But what you would do is click here on My e-learning,
Uh-huh.
and then, let me log back in. So you would click on My e-learning and you would see the Literacy Connection School-wide tile, which looks like this for elementary, this one. And select articles and lessons. These are supposed to be updated weekly, sometimes it's more like monthly. But when you click here, September and October articles and lessons, you'll be able to see, and you can kind of sift through different months. But you'll be able to see a list of these lessons that have been pre-created. You can see the content, and there's also a downloadable lesson. For the content area, the active reading strategies that are in the lesson and some of the extension strategies that are included in the lesson. So it's a full resource. There's also some videos in here so that students can use a critical thinking process when they're viewing materials as well. And on the slideshow, I hyperlinked the MyAvid website, but you do have to create an account first.
Okay.
And you should use your school district email for that.
Okay. That would be great. I would like to find a resource that bridges between the resource room
Yeah.
and the general curriculum. The kids need something that is going to buy them into reading. And so, of course, they want to be doing what everybody else is doing.
For sure.
And something that is meaningful to them,
Yeah.
that I think for me is issue that comes up daily, you know, being if they're reticent to read, it's because they don't have anything that is really
Right.
meaningful to them.
Yeah, so these are great because you'll have those active reading strategies and there's a lot of collaboration opportunities for them to share out their thinking, which is awesome. You can also, you'll notice the levels here. So if you need to customize for a specific like grade band.
Emerging,
Yeah,
okay.
you can do, the emerging is gonna be focused on kinder through 2.
Could you pop that one out and pop up an emerging so I
Yeah.
can look at that?
So up here is one, this is social emotional learning.
Uh-huh,
You wanna look at that one?
yes.
And it's an emerging. So if you go here, you can take a look at the lesson. And it'll give you, you know, the level of difficulty, the focus area, which is SEL. And it, see, AVID, I believe, is updating their terminology, you know, but the activate is gonna be your pre-reading.
Mm-hmm.
Engage is gonna be your active reading. And the extend, of course, is the assessment or extension beyond the text, the application piece for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So scroll down, you'll have your learning objectives, your essential questions, bunch of tips for getting started, and then you've got the text here. They're normally fairly short, in my opinion. Then when you pop back over, you'll have some strategies and some different like PDFs to support with, you know, for example, the engagement piece or some of the other pieces in the lesson.
That looks
Yeah.
exciting.
To download and print for your kids. And of course, you know, you can always just take these as inspiration and customize them for the students. Yeah, so this is available to AVID sites, which right now are Outlook and all of the secondary sites.
Are they just as piloting Outlook and then they'll roll it out to the other elementaries, or?
That's my understanding, is that they're gonna roll out to the other elementaries, and the plan was to start with Outlook. And Outlook was supposed to send a bunch of their teachers to summer institute training. What was the year? Was it 2019 when we should, I can't remember at this point.
Yeah, but we,
2019, right?
2019, but that was the last San Diego trip, wasn't it? Wasn't it 2019 was San Diego? I think it was.
It was
Yeah.
2019.
So 2019, 2020, we were supposed to have Outlook start and then start bringing in the other sites. But if you ever want any resources, let me know, and I'm happy to like send some of these to you. Once your site is an AVID site, then you have access to the literacy connection piece. Well, we are at 10 minutes left. This went incredibly fast. For the rest of the session, if you want to just check out the resources, you wanna pull open your laptop and take a look at the rest of the slides, I mean, it went super fast, so I just wanna thank you for your time. I don't wanna rush through the rest of the slideshow.
I'm gonna take a snap of that QR code because.
Let's see. But this is shared with you, and if you ever want to follow up, please reach out to me, and I would love to support you in continuing to work with implementing the critical reading process. I'm sure Ryan would as well. And Lucas, so you've got some of us that you can reach out to.
For sure.
If you have the time, I would love for you to fill out this feedback to the presenter form. It's totally anonymous, but I'm not collecting your emails. But I would really appreciate any feedback that you might have, constructive comments. It would be super helpful. But I really think that we can just end here and go back to the critical reading process and just think about how our pre-reading strategies, our active reading strategies, and our extension reading strategies, just like with any lesson, should be aligned and should really be focused on supporting the learning target, the reading purpose that we establish for our students. I think that's the most powerful piece in making sure that our kids are able to access those rigorous texts, but also that we're supporting them with the skills that they need to be able to access those texts.
Are we supposed to have a thing for people to